What's up, everybody? Welcome to match 3 of the round of 8 here in the ASL. It's a Zerg vs. Zerg tonight with herO versus herO. And I got to say it again. I've said it at the start of almost every episode of this show. It's been an insane season. So many upsets. This one, another tough one to really call who's going to actually take it.
Yeah. If you look like on a long history timeline, then herO is the best Zerg vs. Zerg of all time. But on a more recent timeline, certainly not the case. Not that he's bad at the matchup in any way, but definitely feels like this one could go either direction. A bit of a coin flip, really.
It's a tough one to call for sure. Before we get into this, we want to say thank you again for the support on Patreon. That's patreon.com/ASL English. If you love us, you love StarCraft, and you want to support our endeavor to keep the original esport alive in the English language, we hope we've encouraged you to check out that Patreon.
Yeah, thank you very much, guys. We do appreciate it as we're getting towards the end of the season. It's certainly been one of our best, so hope you guys have enjoyed, and we'll continue to more in the future. But yeah, look at that bracket so far. In this very Zerg-dominated tournament, half of the round of 4 is not Zerg at all. Protoss versus Terran, our last Protoss versus one of our last Terrans. That's going to be a sick match.
Yeah, to see the PVT up here in the round of 4 already with best in mind, what an exciting and what an unusual, almost improbable set of players to have here fighting for one of the final spots here in the ASL. And, I had a feeling this might happen when I saw the brackets early on, but sometimes StarCraft naturally has this way of correcting brackets that seem a little bit too race-heavy. Not every time, but looks like this time might be one of them here, too, as we don't have 2 Zergs going on into the finals. We will, no matter what, have one of these Zergs advance, either herO versus herO. And Tastosis, I really like how you summed it up, in that if we were to, sample herO over the entire history of StarCraft, yeah, he's had more success. He's more favored, especially in the matchup ZVZ. But I do think that herO is definitely a stronger, more modernized Zerg, and he might even be slightly favored here.
Yeah, he could be. I think part of this might be who had the stamina to practice a lot, because they had, well over a week. I think they had, close to 2 weeks to practice. And I gotta ask, some of these guys have insane work ethic, but do you know how hard it must be to practice multiple hours a day of a matchup that is under 10 minutes most of the time? How hard must that be to play ZVZ all day long?
ASL에서 저저전에서 항상 발목을 잡혀가지고 김지성, 이영환, 이재동, 김성대 선수가 한조로 드론. 자, 저 드론 하나. 낚였어요. 앞바닥에서 해철이 잡았어요. 여기 택합니다. 이재동 모두 끼나 앞서는 상황이에요. 전성기 때 이재동은 정우전이 시그니처였어요. 강력한 진출 후보, 항상 4강 이상이 올라가는 선수가 조일장인데 완벽한 경기 운영, 분석 자체를 굉장히 잘했던 것 같아요. 4강에 올라간 조일장 선수.
나의 레벨은 다르다. 어나더 레벨 하식스와 함께하는 ASL 시즌 15 8강 세 번째 경기로 여러분과 함께하겠습니다. 자, 오늘 매치업 6년 만에 다전제로 돌아온 이재동 선수와 ASL 6번째 4강 진출에 도전하는 조일장 선수의 저저전 매치업이 여러분을 기다리고 있습니다. 두 선수 지금 바로 함께 만나보겠습니다. 안녕하세요.
안녕하세요.
반갑습니다.
안녕하세요.
네, 먼저 이재동 선수. 오랜만에 8강 경기를 앞두고 계십니다. 어차피 8강 이번 시즌에서는 저그밖에 만날 수가 없는 대진이었는데 조일장 선수와의 저저전 매치업이 성사됐을 때는 좀 어떤 느낌이셨나요?
제가 좀 특히 일장이한테 좀 많이 져가지고 평소에, 그래서 가장 좀 힘든 상대라고 생각을 하고 있었는데 또 이렇게 만나게 되더라고요. 네. 어차피 제일 힘든 상대 이기면 그 다음은 더 쉬워질 거라 생각하고 꼭 이기겠습니다.
조일장 선수가 만날 수 있는 가장 어려운 저저전 매치업이었다라고 이재동 선수가 말씀을 하셨는데요. 조일장 선수는 ASL 내에서 다전제 정말 많이 치러본 선수입니다. 그만큼 저저전도 정말 많이 치러본 선수인데 이재동 선수와의 저저전은 사실 좀 다른 느낌이 드셨을 것 같거든요. 좀 어땠나요?
일단은 제가 현역 때부터 지금까지 대회에서 한 번도 못 이겨봤어요. 그래가지고 굉장히 힘든 상대라고 생각하고 있고, 그래서 오늘 열심히 준비해가지고 오늘은 좀 다른 모습을 보여드리고 싶네요.
서로가 서로를 가장 까다로워하는 만큼 오늘 두 선수의 스토리도 굉장히 기대가 되는데요. 이재동 선수는 이번 시즌 16강 때부터 저저전을 정말 많이 치르고 계십니다. 사실 동족전 중에서도 저저전은 변수가 워낙 많은 동족전이기 때문에 준비 과정 역시도 좀 참 힘들었을 것 같다라는 생각도 들거든요. 이재동 선수 좀 어떠셨나요?
예. 힘들었습니다. 힘들었는데
네.
예. 괜찮아요. 근데 어차피 자신 있는 종족전이고 원래. 예.
어떤 부분이 가장 좀 힘드셨나요? 빌드를 선택하는 것 자체도 좀 저저전을 이미 많이 치른 상황에서는 조금 선택하기가 까다로웠을 것 같다는 생각이 들거든요. 조일장 선수의 스타일은 좀 어떻다고 생각하세요?
일단 예전만큼 제가 또 저저전에서 압도적인 실력이 아니라서 그런 것들을 조금 게임을 하면서 좀 내려놓는 게 조금 힘들어서 그런 부분에서 좀 신경을 많이 썼습니다.
조일장 선수도 또 현역 때 이재동 선수를 이긴 적이 없다라고 말했던 만큼 준비 과정에서 이재동 선수의 어떤 부분을 공략해야 4강에 갈 수 있을까 정말 고심을 많이 하셨을 것 같아요. 어떠셨어요?
오늘 제가 공략할 부분은 운입니다.
정말 저저전에서 또 절대 간과해서는 안 될 부분이 또 조일장 선수가 말씀하셨던 그 부분일 것 같은데 두 선수의 매치업을 오늘 워낙 많은 분들이 기대하고 계시기 때문에 두 선수 개인적으로는 오늘 승부처가 어디가 될지 어떤 포인트를 집중해서 봐야 할지도 좀 궁금하실 것 같습니다. 이재동 선수 오늘 경기의 포인트는 어떤 부분일까요?
오늘 경기의 포인트는 제 자신입니다.
스스로에게 집중하는 게 그 무엇보다 중요하다라는 말씀이시죠?
네.
좋습니다. 조일장 선수는 어떻게 생각하시죠?
저도 똑같이 생각합니다.
두 선수 8강 경기를 앞두고 굉장히 경기장에 비장한 전운이 감돌고 있습니다. 끝으로 이기고 싶은 마음을 가득 담아서 두 선수의 각오를 청해 듣도록 하겠습니다. 이재동 선수.
이따가 또 인터뷰하겠습니다.
기대하도록 하겠습니다. 조일장 선수 각오 한 말씀 들려주시죠.
네, 멋진 경기 보여드리겠습니다.
네, 두 선수가 만들 멋진 저저전 기대하도록 하겠습니다. 인터뷰 고맙습니다. 감사합니다. 네, 나의 레벨은 다르다. 어나더 레벨 하식스와 함께하는 ASL 시즌 15 8강 세 번째 경기가 여러분을 기다리고 있습니다. 이재동 선수와 조일장 선수 중 어떤 선수가 이번 시즌 4강으로 향할지 두 선수의 경기 지금 바로 함께하시죠.
All right, we're going to get into the ZVZ. I'm really excited. I mean, Jaedong and herO coming into this. I like what you were saying before we ended up doing that little player intro and then the interview Artosis. Imagine a matchup this short, and this is by far statistically the shortest matchup. We rarely go into like a 15-minute game even. How much prep and working you've done at just the opening.
Yeah, it's kind of insane, right? Like ZVZs can easily be 6-7 minutes, and that's a legitimate Zerg versus Zerg. And the fact that you're only really using Zerglings and Needlisks ever, and it's so much about being very decisive and just having very sharp micro and decision making. I mean, it's crazy to think that these guys have like almost 2 weeks to prepare for this matchup. How do you best utilize that time when it's such an important one? This is like probably the most important matchup other than the finals is the round of 8, because when you hit that round of 4, you get the seed into the round of 16 next time. I mean, the ASL quals at this point are so difficult. There's a possibility that someone doesn't even make it in through those, right? So like you are really looking for that seed.
Yeah, it's a good point, Artosis. I mean, to get to the round of 4, at least you're guaranteed to be in an ASL again the next year, and you don't have to fight for it. Going into this, I think herO might take this. Sorry, Jaedong fans. I think it's going to be close. I think it could be a 3-2.
Okay, I think that a 3-2 is pretty likely because they're both very, very strong. But here, look, looking at the actual way that these guys play, like herO, I mean, I've been speaking super highly of herO for years. Like, this guy is amazing, and I think he deserves an ASL, and he might straight win if he takes Jaedong down here. But I'm actually leaning towards Jaedong in this particular match. I think that his dedication, the fact that he's stated that this is like the last year he's trying, right? Like, this is the year for him to get StarCraft 1 results again for his life, right? Like, maybe that's not going to be the case. We've seen a lot of pros say stuff like that in the past and then continue to play. But, like, if this is it, if Jaedong has, like, this season and next season, here he is. This is the perfect situation for him. Historically, he was so good Zerg vs. Zerg. You know, you look at his style, he's probably the most decisive Zerg of all time. That's how he got to be known. And that's super powerful in Zerg vs. Zerg. So, like, all that plus his discipline, I actually think he's going to be a killer here tonight.
Well, you could be right, Tastosis. I mean, let's also not forget the games that Jaedong's played so far in this ASL. He's looked extremely good. I mean, it wasn't just a matter of, you know, that he won. It's that he won in such a mechanical and aggressive fashion, going toe-to-toe with anybody who he was up against. And he did not have an easy road to get here. herO, I do feel like, is very masterful at planning. So I do feel like this is going to be a bit more of a mechanical Jaedong going up against a strategic herO. I think herO knows very well how to kind of set up openings, especially ZVZ, to get himself into a comfortable spot. I do think it's going to be Jaedong taking the initiative a lot. Or I think the third is it could also be a lot of them both going for Ling speed and layer really fast. A lot of like one-base ZVZ, which we've seen from time to time.
Yeah, it definitely could have like a lot of that very sharp aggression. I wonder how often we're going to see someone actually go for the hatchery first, you know, where it ends up with the spores. Because those games can be pretty wild. We definitely saw a really good one between Jaedong and Shine, if I'm recalling correctly, where Jaedong almost fought back from like an impossibly behind position. I would just love to see one game like that tonight. That would be amazing.
And every once in a while, we will have a kind of sneaky opener where someone's gone for an early hatch and it gets shut down by Lings with speed. Probably the worst games in StarCraft because there's not much to say, but
yeah.
Just like you've seen, you know, Command Center first or you know, Nexus first, and not even a Forge after that, but like a Gateway. You know, there's a lot of really aggro builds economically that you can do that can get shut down. I don't know that we're going to have one in this series, but if we do have one, you see it coming. it happens that maybe we have one or two a year in an ASL where it's just a full-on shutdown at the start of the game, but
yeah,
this is exciting. Let's not forget that Flash is not in this ASL, but will probably be back in the next season. herO is denied an ASL championship because Flash got in his way in the finals, and Jaedong knows if he's going to win an ASL, this season should be the easiest with Flash out of the picture.
It's a really funny point that we always have to bring up, right? Like, if Flash isn't here, this is your best chance, basically. That's how strong the guy is. But look, Jaedong is someone who has overcome everything in the past. Can he do it one more time here? We're going to see. Let's get into map number 1 on Sylphin. All right, over on the right side there, we have Jaedong. And on the left side here, we have herO. All right. You know, actually, when you think about it, we haven't had that many Zerg vs. Zergs this season, despite how well the Zergs have been doing.
Yeah,
and the bracket was drawn, like, pretty perfectly as well. Like, I guess only one Zerg actually won their group, and that was Jaedong. So, yeah, only one Zerg vs. Zerg in this round also. But, damn, some very excited fans here to see Jaedong, man.
Yeah, I love it. It's also nice seeing everybody. I mean, not everybody's not wearing a mask, but it's good to see people's faces again. Mm-hmm. Everybody had to wear a mask everywhere in Korea during the pandemic, including outdoors. It's gone away over the past few months, but it was weird coming back to the studio work and then seeing people's faces again after not having seen them for years.
Yeah.
You know, it's an interesting point you made, Tastosis, and it's kind of funny that in a season that's been so heavily saturated with Zerg, you're right, we actually haven't had that many ZVZs. We've somehow managed to avoid that just by chance itself. And so this is going to be a great ZVZ to see. And it's really two different Zergs from two different eras. Now, I know a lot of people that watch ASL, and certainly not everybody, but there is a large number of people that watch ASL that basically started after StarCraft 2. Or I should say after StarCraft Remastered came out. Or maybe just a little bit before when you and I basically came back and started casting again. And so for those who've been following since then, and that's been a long time, by the way, but herO was kind of always there. He's one of like the 4 Zergs you'd always see in tournaments. So I just want to remind everybody, you know, this game's been out for about, I think actually literally a quarter of a century now.
That's right, yeah.
So 25 years. Jaedong was extremely dominant for, I want to say, 12 or 14 of those. Like, he was really present, and then ended up switching into StarCraft 2, almost became a world champion, losing to SOS at BlizzCon, actually. And I think he backed off of StarCraft 2 from there. And so, you know, he wasn't fully back in Brood War. He's had a couple seasons where he's been here. This seems to be the one he's taken the most seriously.
Yeah, he's certainly taken it really seriously here. He has been in the round of 8 before where he ended up losing to Flash. But yeah, here he is in a Zerg vs. Zerg, which was kind of his signature matchup for a long time. Looking at these two builds, it was a 9 pool from herO, and then it was actually like Overlord gas pool here from Jaedong. So Jaedong's build probably just slightly better. He's getting a little bit more gas, and they're both on 1 hatch. And just the slightly later pool from Jaedong. So we'll see. I think we're going to see a lot of Zergling production from here, and both of them going directly into Spire. Like a very, very sharp first game.
So it seems like Jaedong is, I think a little bit ahead. He basically got everything just late enough to barely hold off, like literally just barely hold off herO's Lings coming in. Now, herO, his second hatchery is later. I think his Spire starts first. Let me see if my math is correct on this. By the way, common spot in that location to put the Spire there is because it plugs up the area behind your minerals, and it's hard to surround with Lings. And a lot of times the Spire is a target. Like, if the drones can't be attacked by Lings because there's not enough Lings, you can always hit the Spire and try to draw them out. And, of course, if you kill the Spire, you probably win the game because they can't make Mutalisks. So, just a little something to note there as far as that positioning goes.
Yeah, now the hatchery gets up for herO at the natural, but obviously it's quite a bit later than Jaedong's, so Jaedong is going to have more larvae overall. That's something that we really have to keep in consideration here. Now, is he going to flood out more Zerglings with this additional larva? Is he just going to utilize it? Maybe, you know, you could do something like make a few Mutalisks and then get out a bunch of Scourge. Whatever he does, he has to take into account the fact that the second hatchery can, and in this time is at the natural expansion. So herO will have that opportunity for more gas later on.
Interestingly, Jaedong just has 1 drone extra per each mineral patch, which I think he's actually microing to each adjacent mineral. There are things called like mineral cycling, where like you have 1 extra drone, and this might be confusing again if you played StarCraft 2 where they evenly switch off and on. They kind of ping pong off the minerals, so you can kind of manually shuffle, not even shuffle, just kind of chuck the drone to the empty patch. And so that's what he's doing here.
That's
I believe
right.
herO has exactly 1 drone for each mineral. And we'll probably need to make a few more once he takes his space, at least enough to mine the gas. We're going to see in a sec how many mutas are actually going to hatch here. But Jaedong is going to have a little bit more momentum. He's banked up more larvae. This is a very clean build here from Jaedong.
Yeah, and really good catch there on that mineral cycling Tastosis. Like, I actually saw the exact patches you were talking about in the middle there. He was doing exactly that micro trick you're talking about. So Jaedong is like, that tells me something. He's very much on top of what's going on. He just sent out his scout, got some good intel. And seeing that herO right now is trying to get that second gas up, this is the window for Jaedong where he needs to get something done, because herO is going to very suddenly have more mutas and Scourge.
That's right. He has his own Scourge coming out. There's no Scourge hidden underneath the mutas here for herO. The Lings are going to come forward. They're not those are slowlings, right? So I mean, you know, if he could even snipe a few of the Zerglings with his own mutas. Here we go. Big attack comes in here. The Scourge is still back right now for herO. The Scourge for Jaedong do come up. It looks like one connects, another shot down.
Yeah, a lot of Scourge starting to pop out now, utilizing that gas as quickly as is possible. It feels like herO is gaining the advantage here. Some moving shots from those mutas. 6 mutas against 4 right now. More Scourge coming up on both sides. Yeah, it looks like herO going to be able to come out on top. A great job utilizing that extra gas by quickly making Scourge. And from here, the odds of Jaedong winning are like very close to 0, I want to say.
Yeah, well,
there
perfectly timed out Artosis. You couldn't have nailed it more than that. Yeah, I was thinking the same thing, though, as you were saying, and I thought, I don't know what you do after that. I mean, he has a gas up and you don't. It seems like we had 2 Scourge that didn't quite connect and that were maybe mismicroed a little bit. It also seems like the Lings came in too soon. I think the mutas should come in and try to take a fight and then see if you can actually damage the Lings. But, you know, again, it looked good from Jaedong, but herO just masterfully held that off and made it look so easy.
Yeah, you know, that's the thing. Like, when you start mining from a geyser, it doesn't take very long to get, like, 75 gas for the next Scourge, right? Like, that's literally very little time. It takes 20 seconds for 100 gas, so it's like, what, 16 seconds, and then you have 2 Scourge. And then, you know, basically you're on a very sharp clock where your opponent's going to overwhelm you with air. But he did have a little bit more larva. So, great execution, great defense there from herO. Jaedong knew he had to try to kill him. Didn't work out. And herO takes that first game.
Yeah, he just has enough. I think some of this also goes back to the fact that he did not overmake Lings with the aggression when he saw that Jaedong wasn't going to let him in. Now look at the Scourge. That one shot down. I don't believe that connected to a target. Jaedong is actually up 1 muta for a minute, but then there's 4 Scourge total that come out here. And Jaedong both is hit by some Scourge as well as unable to. There it is again. See how herO shoots that down? So important. And really the opportunity is all gone after that. Some people may look at this and be like, what? How is there not more game being had here? It's 2 base versus 1. The guy with 2 bases has more mutas and is going to always have more mutas.
Yeah.
No matter what you do, because the second hatch was made in the main.
Yeah, it really does just come down to that mutalist count a lot of the time. Like, if you get any sort of mutalist lead, it's a gigantic advantage. So that's game number 1. herO takes the advantage. We're going to do a quick commercial break. When we come back, game number 2 on Dark Origin.
가브리엘 제주스 선수가 이제 아스날의 지금 주전 공격수인데 평소에 이제 하는 세레모니를 승리 포즈로 저 그때 촬영할 때 한번 해봤는데 계약서 올라간 만큼 좀 골 좀 넣었으면 좋겠네요.
공부 잘했죠? 500명 중에서 뭐 한 41등인가? 아, 질 거면 자신 있죠. 한번 풀어보시죠. 이거요? 네. 아, 연필 진짜 오랜만이에요.
지금 풀면 되나요? 너무 쉬운데? 이거 스펠링 틀려도 안 되는 거죠? 이거 좀 어렵다. 아, 이거 1장인데 김성재라고 해놨네.
잠깐만, 1번 누구지? 잠깐만, 이거는 재욱이 형 같고 이거는 태균이 형 같거든요? 누구지? 누구세요?
제일 가까이 있었던 선수일 수도 있어요.
아, 그러면은 뭐 알지. 아, 어쩐지 뭔가 이상하더라, 눈이.
Piece of me and honestly, 이건 4번이다.
다 풀었고?
다 풀었습니다.
네. 아, 이거 알았는데. 아, 오늘까지 했으면 1등일 것 같은데. 2등? 1등? 몰라. 와, 이걸 어떻게 알아요? 제일 좋은 게 100이네? 그럼 110게임 했다 치자. 아, 이거 뭔 모델인 줄 알았네. 니은, 디귿, 리을, 기억. 니은, 디귿, 리을, 기억. 2번. 오케이. 아, 너무 어려운데요, 이거? 네.
1번부터요? 네네.
첫 번째 최우선, 두 번째 도재욱, 세 번째 김태경.
네, 맞습니다.
다른 사람들은 그래도 눈썹이 좀 보이거든요? 근데 눈썹이 없으니까 좀 무섭네요, 우선이 형. 이거는 진짜 다시 보기 한번 봐봐야겠어. 이거는 잘했어.
여우선 형이 이제 베스를 데리고 나오는데 제가 뮤탈에다가 스컬지를 숨겨놨어요. 뮤탈밖에 없는 척하면서 뮤탈이랑 히드라랑 가가지고 마린한테 맞아주면서 스컬지만 따닥 보내고 다시 나머지 유닛은 빼는 예술의 플레이였다고 저는 생각합니다.
네, 정답입니다.
네.
이제 운영, 이제 상대를 정찰을 하면서 상대 빌드에 맞춰가지고 유리한 상황을 이제 이끌어내는 그런 운영과 거기에 이제 받쳐지는 컨트롤로 이제 상대한테 좀 공격적으로 해서 이득을 볼 수 있는 컨트롤. 네, 이렇게 두 가지 좋았던 것 같아요. 5번, 2번이요. 24만이요.
34만 명 있었어요.
아, 그런가요? 이때 이 관중석의 열기가 장난이 아니었던 것 같아요. 이때 사람도 되게 많고 제가 기억하는 ASL 경기 중에서 가장 좀 뜨거웠던 경기가 아니었나. 6번은 1번이요. 상현승원. 이거는 이재동은 ASL 시즌2에 출전했어요. 처음으로. 제가 이걸 기억하고 있어서 세 번째 8강 진출이 아니라 두 번째 8강 진출이에요. 첫 시즌 이외에는 8강을 한 번도 올라가 본 적이 없습니다. 사실상 두 번째고 뜻깊은 말이죠.
3번, 8번.
이영경 선수가 한번 언급을 해드렸었어요.
벌써 ASL 내에서 8번째.
바꿀 기회 있나요?
네, 정답은 3번 맞습니다.
낚일 뻔했네.
1, 2, 4, 5, 1, 2, 4, 5.
오, 그러네요. 이거 찍었는데.
정답 2번입니다.
1등 누구예요?
1등 김정은 선수.
저거 몬트했는데. 이거 안 되나? 어떡해. 까비.
4번.
3번 치스입니다.
3번인가요?
네. 많은 인연이 있는 노래잖아요.
네. 이 노래는 이제 제가 바카스 스타리그 2009년도에 우승을 했을 때 오프닝 BGM이었는데 그 오프닝 찍을 때 물 속에서 촬영을 해서 굉장히 힘들었던 기억이 있는데 이 노래 들으면 옛날 생각도 나고 그래서 평소에도 종종 듣는데 그때 이후로 이제 저를 좀 떠올리는데 좀 가장 큰 노래가 아닌가.
그냥 우승이 아니라 3회 우승이었기 때문에 좀 더.
그쵸. 네, 골든마우스 시즌이라서 10번은 이제 시즌 13 16강 30% 6년 맞죠?
정확합니다.
네. 이거는 뭐 가장 최근 기억이라서 옛날 거는 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 6개 맞췄습니다. 네.
이것도 찍었다, 생각해보니까.
정답은 4번이었어요.
와, 근데 이거 진짜 깜짝 놀랐네. 130이나 된다고? 4강 가면 경기 수가 많아지는구나. 아깝다. ASL 11에서 조일장에게 일어난 일이다. 순서가 맞게는 알된 것은 우승자 출신 저그 선수를 꺾고 다음 라운드 진출. 시즌 전승으로 다음 라운드 진출. 장윤철에게 3대1 승리. 다전제에서 리버스 수입 달성. 그래도 잔인하지 않은 게 4대0으로 진 거는 패션이에요. 감사합니다.
그래서 정답은 맞습니다.
2번.
어쨌든 많이 기억하고 계시는 것 같은데.
억강 문제들이 몇 개 있어가지고. ASL에서 벌써 130경기나 했다는 게 정말 놀랍고 그럼에도 우승이 한 번 없다는 것도 또 놀랍네요. 이제 더 좋은 모습으로 잘해보겠습니다. 화이팅!
이제서야 이렇게 다전제도 할 수 있게 돼서 감회가 새롭고요. 그냥 잘해보고 싶어요. 최선을 다해서 좋은 결과 얻고 싶습니다. 화이팅!
Welcome back, everybody. It's time to go into game number 2. So far, game number 1, it actually did pan out a little bit like we expected it to. It was Jaedong trying something aggressive. herO did not match it with any one-base aggression. Instead, he went for a little bit of a strategic opener and basically had perfect defense. And, you know, in a game where the only air units that are made, besides Overlords, of course, are Mutas and Scourge. Scourge that do not connect on target. Oh my god, it's Elky.
Elky,
What do you know, right
look
there?
at that.
Yeah, oh
So
my god,
sick.
I forgot. He's back in Seoul. Elky, by the way, for those of you guys who don't know, one of the biggest foreigner StarCraft 1 pros ever. Way back in the day, so glasses are on.
Yeah. Elky was actually the last non-Korean player ever to qualify for a StarLeague. It was many years ago, but a legend, and now one of the best poker players in the whole entire world. Which shows
Literally.
you, man. Yeah, like Terran players truly are the best. Thank you, Tasteless.
Yes,
Where's the
I
thank
got
you
a guest
Artosis
pass.
sign? What is going on here?
I got a message. Remember when we said that you could get in the studio for free?
Yeah.
Well, it turns out you can't for round of 8. They're selling tickets, so somebody DM'd me, and I'm like, all right, I'll see what I can do, because I did say that you didn't have to get a ticket or anything, so I hooked it up. I made it happen. Now, yeah, I mean, it's so cool to see Elka here. It's so cool to see everybody kind of coming back. And, I don't know, showing StarCraft some love. Makes me so happy to see. But to go back to the game for a second, it just seems like herO knew how to sidestep what Jaedong did. It did actually have superior control with Mutas, by the way.
Yeah. You know, that it was a very sharp game, very fast engagement there where just a few extra Scourge hit and the game tumbles out of control instantly. I don't think every game will look like that, but that's what we were talking about, where it's like, yeah, that's a legitimate Zerg versus Zerg game. You know, someone puts down an expansion and that just forces everything else to occur. You know, so... Yeah, that's we just kind of have to keep an eye on like who is taking those expansions and like when it forces the fight, what are we looking for, right? And when they both go quick layer like that, there's no way to prolong it because no one can afford spore crawlers. So it's like no, we're killing each other right now. And that's it.
Yeah, one thing I got to praise herO for, he got that extractor that finished like the second the hatchery finished. Like he got his drones up there immediately. So it might look kind of silly, like what Jaedong did, because it got shut down, but he really actually got, like, when he got the 4 Scourge out, it was just enough time to basically not allow Jaedong to kind of fence him down. So, beautiful play there by herO. Dark Origin is going to be our map for map number 2 here. Yeah, man, I'm hoping we have 5 games, 4 or 5 games, please. I'm hoping this isn't a 3-0. herO did look very strong in that last game, though. Let's get this going, guys.
All right, in the bottom right here, we have Jaedong, the tyrant himself, and in the top left, we have herO. All right. So, I mean, not sure that we'll see anything like super strange here. Obviously, we saw Shine do that one really weird build. That was, I believe, against Jaedong on this map, where he like proxy the hatch behind the base and try to sneak in with like. Yeah, you gotta appreciate Shine and the stuff he's trying to pull off. But, you know, something like that is not the style of either of these guys. We should just see a game that looks kind of similar to what we've been looking at so far.
I think we're going to have a 7 pool here from herO.
Oh my god, a 7 pool?
Yeah, look at this.
That's crazy.
So, the 7 pool, it's a funny thing because there are 4 pools, there are 5 pools, 7 pools, and 9 pools.
That's funny because 6 pool actually was very popular when we were coming up in the game many, many years ago, but it's not used at all anymore.
Yeah, and then it was used right when StarCraft 2 came out because you started out with 6 workers.
Yeah.
But, yeah, the 7 pool seems to be... It's almost as fast as a 4 pool or a 5 pool. But you have a little bit more drones. This is actually really bad because he's going to go hatchery first.
Yeah, probably worst case scenario, really. Like, this is
I think
what
he might
herO's
just die
looking
here.
for. I think you're right. This might be the quickest 2-0. Like, just about ever.
He still hasn't made a drone yet. By the way, this is the variation of the 7 pool where you get Zergling speed. Pretty modern, actually. This wasn't something people did a long time ago. You only saw Ling speed with 9 pool, but this is basically you just get like 8 Lings out and then you make Ling speed. Actually, let's see. It looks like it's actually Ling speed first.
Dude,
yeah,
that's
so
crazy.
6 Lings and then Ling speed. Very cool build. So what's going to happen is the Lings are going to get there, and they're going to have speed so fast as well. This is just, I think this is over, man.
It probably is. In fact, he's going to dodge the Overlord perfectly as well. So super well mapped out build here for herO. Yeah, I don't see Jaedong holding this. What? Okay, so the drone count is actually 6 right now for herO, and you got to assume he's going to make more Lings to send out, like, because you have to kind of get the kill with this. Jaedong obviously sitting here on like 12 drones. You know, if he were to somehow stay alive, he's going to have a big economic lead.
Yeah, basically he's going to show these few Lings What, can he even go around this? No, there's no way. Okay, so he's going to show this at the last second.
Yeah, but the way
So
he
he's-
walked around, if the Overlord had been slightly to the left, he would have dodged it as well. So, like, the overall planning of
Yeah.
this from herO is immaculate. Like, this is beautifully done.
Well, I mean, we have 4 slowlings hatching. Keep in mind that speedlings always beat slowlings. They just get their connections much faster. They can be microed better. Jaedong's going to flee up the ramp, but I think herO actually can breach this.
Well, I tell you
Well,
what.
I gotta say, Jaedong, yeah.
So yeah, Jaedong, like, he's pulled the drones now, and don't forget he has the additional larva. That's a big deal here as well. He did pop an Overlord, which you know, we'll see if he keeps enough units live. It seems like he is, though. With all these extra larva, he might be able to hold this. It's possible.
I mean, he did kill a drone. I feel like this is as well as Jaedong could have done. Problem is, he can't really afford to lose the hatch. Also, the speedlings can get on top of lings that are hatching. The drones and the lings in the ramp, I don't think that herO can get up there. This actually, by the way, is I would have thought we would already be on a commercial break by now.
Yeah.
I thought that Jaedong would have just died. So this is actually pretty impressive. Doesn't mean that he's going to win. So he has 4 mining minerals back at home. There are lings. Keep in mind that the drones can fire over the Zerglings.
That's right.
So-
Also, the AI gets really screwed up here. Like, the lings are going to try to attack other Zerglings, so the drones actually get lots of free shots in this situation. And look at this. It's like he's almost held it. It's 4 lings against 3 right now.
So there's 5 drones mining because one of them turned into a hatchery. There's 2, 4, 6, 8 drones. Does Jaedong live? I mean, well, I guess he's not dead yet, but is there any way that herO can try to force this game to be over? herO is going to get his second hatchery up, so he can try to play catch-up in that sense.
Yeah, I guess that's true. Like, he is starting to re-drone up here, and with the second hatchery up, he does gain that larva advantage, which is so important, and he already has the Zergling speed, and he's going to have the potential for a second gas. I don't know if that second gas will actually come into play. I think that this game it's more likely to end on pure Zerglings, but let's see what he ends up going for.
That's so funny, that like update or whatever happened.
Yeah.
I thought that was actually on my PC. I'm like,
Yeah,
oh
me
god,
too.
the recording's going to crash.
Like, wait, I don't have any Korean stuff installed here.
I'm like, what is this Korean software on my computer that's popping up? Okay, so the second hatch is done. And I like this with Jaedong's doing. He's basically, the moment that herO's not looking, he sends 2 down and tries to target a Zergling. And keep in mind that with herO making the additional drones, he's actually down on lings. So, I mean, there's a chance that Jaedong cracks this open and has a big counterattack.
It is impressive. We normally don't see people really try to kill the Zergling conga line because it's so hard to get in there, but he's actually taken several good engagements there. So he does gain a little bit of an advantage as far as Zerglings go. You can see there, he definitely was not gaining that advantage, but pulls it back very fast as well. Yeah. Oh, man. Oh, look at that block. Dude, the micro that you see in Zerg vs. Zerg sometimes is absurd.
So he's going to try to come down here and force... Oh, my God. herO's, like, actually playing so perfectly. But does he have enough now? And I notice that there's just a bit of a better arc right now for herO, but Jaedong eventually chews his way through that, and herO's going to have to retreat. Jaedong at 15 supply, herO at 21. The layer on the way, but the Spire is close to finishing now here for Jaedong.
All right, well, he is getting that evolution chamber, so he could go into a longer game here for sure. Now, Jaedong going for this little counterattack, and I mean, this is a very important moment. Gets on top of these Zerglings. He certainly has more lings at the moment. The drones come out to fight as well, though, and he does have to turn around as more hatch.
Man, that's too bad. If you lose those lings, you have less utility later on. He just has, like, enough, it seems like. He does kill a drone. Every drone that's killed is huge, by the way. Even more so than a normal ZVZ because of how sparse the drone count has been overall. I guess that's about as good positioning for spores as you could ask for. 3 mutas should be hatching. but it seems like the spores are going to be up in just the nick of time.
Yeah, good defense from herO. It doesn't look like he has any weak spot. And the fact that his Spire is already going and he has the spores up, I kind of like that position, to be honest. Right? Like, he's going to be able to get his second gas very, very quickly. Jaedong's economy is not really that good. I feel like herO has an advantage here. What do you think?
I always find it really interesting to see how games like this play out. There's not a lot of lings on either side. I guess there's just enough on either side that if somebody made a mistake, you could counter into their main with lings and get a lot of damage. There's enough spores that Jaedong can't do that much damage to herO. There's also not a lot of drones out either. The Spire's going to finish for herO. I feel like he must have... Oh my god. Oh, I can't believe that drone lived.
Dude, James Bond drone over there. That was crazy. But it looks like Jaedong going to dive in. He does take some damage, pulls back the most damaged Muta there, but kills 2-3 drones. Pretty solid. But with 4 spores up, the Spire done, the second gas about to finish, certainly doesn't feel very good here for Jaedong.
He's actually moving these Overlords over the patches, if you notice closely here from herO, to try to cover up so that you can't actually quite target the drones.
Yeah.
And Mutas, they don't have great vision range either, so it's not like you can target the drone from a distance. He did make a second hatchery in his main. I think that's a hatchery. Yeah, it is, from the size of the minimap, yeah.
Oh, a second hatchery in his main base, you're right.
Yeah, yeah.
That's wild. Against someone who has a second gas already, I don't know about that, Tastosis. That doesn't feel very good to me.
It doesn't feel right. It seems like the safer play would be to take a base, you know, at your natural. I mean, Jaedong could take another hatchery later on. In fact, maybe that's what he's going to do here.
I wonder, like, I know that you have a bit of a gas advantage as Jaedong here because, you know, herO had to build his economy for a little bit. But with the double gas, herO's going to catch up really quickly and get to a similar Mutalist count. Is Jaedong going to have to get spores of his own, or do you think he's going to be able to just barely tread that line?
Well, I don't know if he can get spores on his own. I mean, Jaedong's done a pretty good job of keeping herO's drone count pretty low, so I think herO is having a hard time really catching up the way that he would want to. Jaedong's base, I mean, he's got a healthy amount of drones. He has 1 per patch. He's making more drones now. So I think he can actually keep making mutas. Keep in mind, also, herO's gas is still lower. I think Jaedong has just got enough more minerals coming in. He's actually, I think, going to be ahead for a little bit with mutas, and then that second gas is going to finish, and I think he can stay even. You know, the funny feature about when you go for spores, because you're forced to go for spores, is then you're safe for muta counterattacks.
It's 8 mutas against 7, so Jaedong has that advantage just slightly.
He just let a Scourge in an Overlord.
Oh, damn. Big mistake right there. It does supply block Jaedong, which is one thing to mention. Jaedong does have more damaged mutas, but he has more mutas here as well. Oh, God. The Scourge, I think, did get a decent connection there. Does Jaedong have enough? It's 7 against... Oh, my God. I think herO's going to do it once again, Tastosis. It looks like he just has too much.
Yeah, he just understands ZVZ so well. Okay, that was a fun one to cast. Got to point out again, that is like a crazy 7 pull into Ling speed, and then Jaedong holds like a god.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I think Jaedong played a great game back there. The thing is, herO seems to have the perfect understanding mathematically of when the mutas can come out and engage, and how many Scourge he needs, and what he needs to target, and then what his Lings can do. His Lings are going to kill the hatchery whether or not that fight had been won or lost in the air.
Yeah, and then he can, even if he's behind on mutas, he's got 2 gas and 4 spores, so it really felt like he was in charge of that after he got his natural up nicely. Like, that was really superbly done by herO. I gotta bow down to his planning of this match. The build order was super tight, the execution was amazing, and he just looked a bit stronger that game. Although Jaedong didn't play poorly, it's just herO really dictated what was going on.
Yeah, very, very funny start here. So he ran around with those 6 Lings, and I remember just watching people when they started to figure this out, like, maybe 17 years ago about just like having a few Lings run around them because people weren't scouting with drones as much in ZVZ later on. And, you know, I do want to say, to start this off, this was kind of a build order loss from J-Dog. It's crazy that he stayed in the game. You know, these Lings, herO wanted to try to run up the ramp. It seems like he tried to commit, and I think J-Dong played really well. Even where this one Ling went around, J-Dong's control was pretty much perfect. The drone pool was like the exact right number. He really didn't lose that many drones in the fight either, which is a real testament to how good he is. And it's like even moments like this where the drone's dancing on it, so strong.
Yeah, and I would say one thing to J-Dong fans that are watching, don't lose all hope. In Zerg vs. Zerg, like a series can really turn on a dime. This particular game, herO got exactly the build order he wanted to play against with the build that he did, the hatchery first. And, you know, if J-Dong gets slight edge in openers in the next couple games, he can bring it right back.
All right, guys, we're going to go to a break. When we come back, game number 3 with J-Dong versus herO. Thank you for waiting, everybody. We're back, and we're going to be going into game number 3. But first, we want to say once again, thank you for the love and support on Patreon. We would not be able to do it without you guys.
Yeah, thank you very much, everybody. It's been a great season. This series going a little bit fast so far. It's a ZVZ, so kind of to be expected. Hoping that it'll reel back in a little bit, and J-Dong can take a couple maps here.
Yeah, you know, I think it's possible this could be a reverse sweep. The thing that worries me overall when I look at herO versus J-Dong is it seems like herO knows exactly how to get the right number of mutas and Scourge to close the game out every time, whether on defense or on attack.
Yeah, he knows how to leverage the second gas, like, instantly. It's the quickest I've seen, to be honest, where it's like he gets a second gas up, and then he gets exactly the right amount, and bam, hits. And it's like J-Dong just barely doesn't have enough to hold. It doesn't feel like J-Dong's playing bad. It feels like he's playing some high-level Zerg vs. Zerg, but it almost feels as if herO just has it mapped out a little bit better.
Yeah, it's... Yeah, I like what you were saying, Tastosis. I think J-Dong looks good, but it seems like once we get through layer tech, herO just knows how to end the game every time.
Yeah.
J-Dong has been on the receiving end of aggression in both of the games. In game 1, he barely got enough Lings out to seal off his entrance on Sylphid. And in game 2, he barely held off a 7 pool with Ling speed, followed up with, I want to say, like 10 or 12 more Lings coming in there. And he had to use his drones to defend. But... yeah, I mean, maybe we can see J-Dong try to put the aggression on here. It does seem like herO just knows how to kind of cage him in and then just get ahead from there, get an extra base out.
Yeah. Hopefully J-Dong has some way to react to this, some way to fix what's going wrong, because so far it hasn't looked super, super great. You know, again, it doesn't feel like he's playing poorly, so maybe he just gets some advantaged builds going forward. Like that last game was certainly a herO advantage build, even though J-Dong did well against it. Maybe that can turn around now. Maybe now J-Dong is, you know, either the aggressor or the expander against a more defensive build, right? And then he can have some sort of advantage that he can bring to a victory.
He did get hard countered in that last game, even though it didn't end the game. I mean, hatchery first versus 7 pool with speed. I mean, you couldn't ask for a worse opening. But that's probably going to make J-Dong pretty cautious to try to go for hatchery first again, which would limit his options. So I do feel like this can be an easier closer here from herO. He's been very much in control of the ZVZs from start to finish. Let's see if J-Dong can turn this around as we go to the 3rd map of the night.
Right, on the left side, we have a J-Dong. And on the right side, we have herO. Of course, they are playing right now on Heartbreak Ridge. Hopefully that is referring to herO, where his heart will be broken, that he will not be going 3-0 against Jaedong.
Hopefully this is herO Break Ridge.
Yeah. Oh, man. If it does end like a 3-0 for herO, man, that's going to be like a bit of a letdown, to be honest. You know, Jaedong is one of the most beloved pro gamers in all of StarCraft, and you know, people just really want to see him do well. I mean, what a fairy tale story it would be for these older champions to win again. At this point, we're just used to like Flash doing it, but like for instance, Jaedong and Bisu, they show these moments of brilliance, but can't quite close out a tournament nowadays.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, they're certainly able to hang, and that is cool. But it has basically been Flash and then a couple of very modern players.
Yeah.
Really crushing through here. You know, even to get moderately good at this game takes years of practice. And then you have to think that there are people that just basically never stopped playing.
Yeah.
You know, we all get to different points in our lives and have different priorities and time for different stuff. But, I mean, it's so competitive right now. And I do feel like Jaedong is actually very viable, but it just seems like, at least so far, herO is just stronger in the ZVZ matchup. He seems to be very comfortable with all parts of the early game, and especially with that muted tech. Now, by the way, for build orders here, Jaedong is going to go for a spawning pool and an extractor, and herO is actually doing basically the counter build to this, which is a later spawning pool and then later extractor. So he'll have just enough lings to stop whatever Jaedong's doing and probably be ahead about 2 drones.
Yeah. So that is quite a big difference. Looks like herO may be going down to take his own natural expansion as well, so he'll be playing much more on the defensive here. And with the much earlier expansion, like, let's see, you would assume he's going to get Zergling speed off of this. This is the big thing we want to look at because he's going to have the double hatchery. But, like, if he goes Zergling speed, then that means that Jaedong will have much faster mutas, and that might be where the game gets decided.
So the Overlord's going to come up, and Jaedong has his position so that the Lings can just go underneath the Overlord's vision path. Now, okay, so he sees the hatchery over here.
Dude, he's hiding those for a long time. This is really interesting. Yeah. Huh. So he sends out 4, and I think he wants him to think that, okay, well, this is it. You can't tell, like, for instance, how far along the layer is. So this is a very tricky move from Jaedong. It looks right now like he has 6 lings to herO.
Maybe this is the game that Jaedong takes. He's going to end up with a dozen lings coming up to this entrance. 2 more are hatching. Ling speed's going to finish later. 6 is enough to barricade this off, but, well, there's actually a small hole there, so maybe not.
That is a lot of lings from Jaedong, man. He's going to get this hatchery 100%, but it looks like he might even go for a kill. No, he does. He goes for the hatchery. And yeah, like, you can't even pull drones against that. You have to give it up as herO. So Jaedong getting a nice advantage here in the beginning of game 3.
Yeah, it's pretty big. He's going to surround this egg, so whatever hatches is just going to be killed off.
It's always an Overlord, though. Like, when this happens, they always just make an Overlord there. It's like,
so
okay,
true,
well, at least we get that larva and it'll live. And there it is.
But he does have the... He's got his Spire coming. He is contained. I mean, this looks pretty good for Jaedong right now.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely would agree with you on that, right? His Spire is not quite halfway, and it's actually really similar as far as Spire timings go. So, obviously, this is not how herO wanted his build to progress. He wanted to have that second gas, and that is, again, what he has been leveraging to win the first 2 games. So, I would say that Jaedong should at least be happy with that. I'm surprised he's doing this move again, because twice we saw it not work there. He lost 2 lings for free.
Yeah, herO's very good at setting the lings up so that 2 will hit 1, or sometimes even 3, depending on the angle. So yeah, I'm with you on Tastosis. I kind of feel like that's just an odd play to go for. And so it's 1 hatch layer to 1 hatch layer. The mutas have already started for Jaedong. They will be starting momentarily here for herO.
Well, 3 mutas on the way for herO, no doubt right there. Brings a drone up as well, and all the Lings already have run away, except for the one on high ground that wants to run in. Ooh, he does slip it in. This will give him at least a little scout of what's going on, maybe a little bit of harassment as well. And look at this counterattack right into the natural going after that drone.
Big play there. Totally denied that hatchery. The hatchery's canceled. These Lings are going to win this fight, I think, as well. I don't think that herO has quite enough. Wow. That
was really well done. Jaedong denies the hatchery, kills every Ling, and gets out with 3. Very, very nice stuff.
herO accidentally has 4 drones on gas. Jaedong is now going to send his drone out to make his own hatchery. Keep in mind that the Lings can always counterattack here.
Well,
so you can see the hatchery's going to come down here, yeah.
The hatchery does get down, and now it's just a 1-gas muta arms race. So a lot of times in these positions, when you basically have the same amount of mutas, you don't really attack across the map. I am confused about the 4 drones on gas there. That doesn't look right. When the geyser's to the north of the hatchery, it only takes 3 to mine perfectly. Any other position,
right. No,
it takes 4, but yeah, definitely that's kind of a big error when that's such a high percentage of your economy.
It seems like we're seeing herO be hyper-vigilant with his Mutalisks, and he's not actually going back over his base and seeing that there's a drone in the wrong spot. That is really bad, to have a drone, a 4th drone on the gas. This is a matchup where sometimes you have less than 10 workers the whole game.
Yeah.
So, I mean, to be not mining from 1 resource patch is huge.
Makes a gigantic difference, truly. A lot of mutas being fielded on both sides here. Couple Scourge in that clump for herO. He gets his gas up at his natural immediately. So definitely showing that he's putting a high priority on that, since 3 drones up to immediately mine from that geyser. So he wants to get that gas advantage once again. We'll see if that works out. Jaedong has a very healthy, very large Mutalisk count right now.
Yeah, this is a lot of mutas out. Jaedong, I think that herO just has matched him at this point in time. I may be wrong. Again, herO is so good at that balancing act. The second gas is going to finish, but somehow herO is already mining gas before Jaedong. It's crazy.
That's really been the focus for him in all of these games, is like he gets that second gas up immediately. Like as the hatchery's finishing, his drones are already there. Doesn't care so much about those minerals. Now we have a little bit of an engagement there. Doesn't really go one way or the other. And he does do a little, Jaedong with a little Ling counterattack during that. Doesn't quite get the drones, but a great try.
Oh, the Scourge are going to come in here. They do connect onto both targets. But there's so many Scourge here for herO. He's going to continue to chase him. And it just seems like there's so much. There's no way that he can possibly try to fight this all off.
Oh, some big Scourge hits right there. Just 4 mutas left over for Jaedong. Can't be happy about that. Not sure about the actual count here for herO, but once again with that Scourge flood, just getting the edge on Jaedong.
Yeah, the Lings come down again. Jaedong and herO both traded out quite a bit, but it does seem like once again Tastosis, herO just has more.
He's up like 5
his drones
mutas,
just bring the gas back faster. It's crazy.
Well, they do when his geyser's up quicker, that's for sure. He's literally up like 5 mutas. I know a lot of them are damaged, but seriously, that's a huge, huge edge. It feels like herO just has figured out the muta Scourge fights better than Jaedong here.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like the core of what the mid-game matchup really is, which is, massing up mutas, getting Scourge like they're doing right now. He seems to both know how to get there in a more efficient manner, and he also is better at controlling overall. Like, we have these moments where it's, he's just has more Scourge. He's kiting and connecting really nicely here onto his opponent's Scourge, and then he knows exactly when to target down the opposing player's mutas. We don't have any air upgrades, or at least we didn't with Jaedong. You can see the observers checking by clicking on these mutas. I don't see armor or attack, but one of them has to be getting one of those.
Yeah, you would imagine that they would have started an upgrade at this point, but I guess we'll see here pretty shortly. herO comes in, does snipe an Overlord. His muta count is really fearsome here, so Jaedong's Scourge simply must hit, and I don't know that they're hitting enough.
Yeah, he takes the Scourge out so easily. It seems like herO's more willing to basically come in and snipe his opponent's Scourge, and then this Scourge here from herO come in, and there's just nothing that really Jaedong can do. He has to try to hold his ground. Oh my God!
Wait a second. Wait a second.
Beautifully done. What?
What in the world
They're
did
both
I just
so
see?
low.
Wait, did Jaedong just smash all the mutas? He was down like 5 mutas, and now he's up 3? What?
I can't even explain that.
Dude, it's like magnets. Like, what?
Yeah, how do those work? No, it's wild. Well, he's ahead now. Now, all the mutas are very badly damaged, so he may want to, dial it back here and try to just get a little bit more macro going here and let his mutas heal up. But he's actually already on the move out now. There was only one drone mining gas. Actually, there's only one drone. No, sorry. There's 2 drones mining gas at the natural for Jaedong. Only 1 mining gas, the natural here for herO.
I think when your Mutalisk count gets too low, you definitely do need to add in a few more Mutalisks. And when your opponent's mutas are all in the red, you definitely don't need Scourge for that, you know? So banking up a little bit more minerals, that's how weak their economies are, is like they have to switch back and forth between gas and minerals to get the units that they want. But they're both building back up those Mutalisk flocks. What a wild game. I've never seen 2 Mutalisk swings that look like that into a game that honestly, I can't really tell who's winning. I feel like it's Jaedong just slightly.
Well, Jaedong seems to have gotten the upper hand. I'm sure we're going to get a slow-mo play of that encounter there because that was really impressive by Jaedong. It really did look like herO was going to close that out. But somehow Jaedong came on top. He was ahead about 3 Mutalisks there. They're going to continue to accumulate more and more Scourge now. And it looks like Jaedong's looking for another fight. Now, we don't see +1 attack. We don't see +1 armor yet. Doesn't mean it's not coming.
Yeah, you never know when or if they're going to start those. If you think the game's going to end soon, maybe you'll skip. Look at this. Comes in with his Scourge, and ooh, that's some good micro from Jaedong. He sends his Scourge in. He micros against the Scourge here, and then look at that. He brings more up to force everything back. 2 Lings in the main base going after drones at the same time, but this Mutalisk attack could actually seal the deal.
All right, herO's going to keep forcing with his mutas. The moving shot is good, and I mean, it's almost mystifying here. herO somehow just comes out on top. He does kill a lot of drones. Jaedong does back in the main here, but I think that the killing blow is inbound here. There's just too many mutas out. Even if you were to hatch 6 mutas, herO would still have more, and he's got Scourge hatching as well.
Yeah, that's a finishing blow right there. And that means that herO will win a very fast round of 8 match. Ends up 3-0 against the fan favorite in Jaedong, but herO once again just showing his absolute power at this game.
It was something else. I gotta say, I mean, herO is just so good at ZVZ, and I wish we had some, pro gamers to kind of break down the micro, because this micro from Lings and Lings, Muta, and Scourge, it's a very specific type of control that you have to have that I don't personally myself know how to do. But clearly, there were periods where Jaedong was able to come out ahead, but herO unfazed managed to eventually just surpass him. And no upgrades for mutas, by the way. No +1 armor, no +1 attack.
I think they were both just such on the edge that game when herO lost his hatchery, and then Jaedong knew he had an edge, so like it's just trying to kill. And you skip an upgrade, that's 1 extra Mutalisk. But yeah, no upgrades coming in, and it's unfortunate to see Jaedong go down, but he had a very good season. He played very, very well. And again, herO is one of these guys that we expect to win in ASL soon.
Yeah, I mean, this very well may be his ASL. So let's look at this fight that happened back here. They were almost even on mutas. It seems like he keeps 1 Scourge in the control group when he's microing, at least for the start of the fight. I don't know, or at least it looks like that with the way things are moving. And then he's able to start doing the moving shot, and there's no way to turn and fight it because the Scourge are chasing you. And that's one big feature of all these fights is herO always has a couple more Scourge at the end of the fight to kind of snowball it to where you have to start to run. And one thing about Muta versus Muta is you can't really retreat. Once you start to lose, they can follow you all the way back to your base and just kill you.
That's right. If you don't have any spores, there's no defender's advantage at all. So, yeah, a huge win there from herO. Definitely outplayed Jaedong. Definitely felt like he had a better feel for how to handle the mutas and the Scourge. So Jaedong, again, a great season, but he is now out of the tournament, and we have our first Zerg in the round of 4.
Yeah, that's right. Our first Zerg in this very Zerg-heavy round of 8. Let's hear how he's feeling now that he's moved on to the round of 4.
하식스와 함께하는 ASL 시즌 15 세 번째 4강 진출자가 탄생했습니다. 완벽한 판짜기를 보여주면서 4강에 다시 한번 오른 조일장 선수와 함께하겠습니다. 축하드립니다.
아, 감사합니다.
얼마나 철저하게 준비를 하셨는지가 고스란히 느껴졌던 오늘의 8강 경기였습니다. 결국에 시드자의 명예까지 지켜내고 4강에 다시 한번 오르셨는데요. 조일장 선수 소감을 먼저 좀 여쭤보고 싶네요.
아, 일단 진짜 연습 과정이 많이 힘들었는데 진짜 열심히 준비한 보람이 있는 것 같아서 진짜 기분이 너무 좋습니다.
오늘 경기 중계진 분들도 거듭해서 말씀하셨던 게 조일장 선수의 단단함이었습니다. ASL 내에서 정말 꾸준함의 대명사가 되고 있는 조일장 선수인데요. 8번째 8강 진출에 이어서 6번째 4강 진출입니다. 이 기록만으로도 조일장 선수의 단단함이 좀 느껴지지 않나 싶은데요. 이런 꾸준함의 원동력은 어디에서 나오나요, 조일장 선수?
그냥 평소에 연습을 많이 해가지고 그래서 대회 때 좀 선택할 수 있는 폭이 여러 개 있는 것 같아서 좀 그게 좀 도움이 많이 되는 것 같아요.
그럼에도 오늘 상대 이재동 선수는 조일장 선수에게 참 좋지 않은 기억들을 여러 번 안겨줬던 선수이기 때문에 좀처럼 조일장 선수가 경기장에서 좀 긴장을 하지 않는 선수로 저는 알고 있는데 경기 전에는 살짝 좀 흔들리고 긴장되는 모습도 좀 느껴지셨거든요. 그만큼 준비 과정에서도 여러 가지 어려움이 있으셨던 것 같습니다. 어떤 어려움들이 좀 있으셨을까요?
일단은 이게 좀 많이 지다 보니까, 그러니까 제동이 형한테 좀 많이 졌다 보니까 그때의 기억들이 자꾸 생각이 나는 거예요. 아, 이게 내가 그때 진짜 질 때는 뭔가 벽처럼 느껴졌거든요. 아무것도 내가 하지 못하고 그냥 게임 내주고 그런 생각들이 자꾸 나더라고요. 오늘도 일어나는데 그런 생각이 나는 거예요. 그래가지고 좀 많이 걱정했었는데 1경기 이기고는 이제 긴장이 많이 풀려가지고 잘 됐었던 것 같아요.
결국에 조일장 선수가 느꼈던 벽을 허물고 결국에 4강에 다시 한번 어려운 선수를 상대로 또 오르는 조일장 선수인데요. 첫 번째 세트 이재동 선수의 공격을 막아내고 난 이후부터 두 번째 세트는 조일장 선수가 마음이 좀 편해졌다라고 말씀을 하셨습니다. 7드론을 선택하셨는데요. 그 빌드에 대해서 좀 말씀해 주시면 좋을 것 같아요.
일단은 그냥 일회용 빌드고 사실 1경기 이기면은 이제 하려고 그랬어요. 그래가지고 1경기 이기고 나니까 이거 솔직히 말해서 연습 때 승률이 별로 안 좋았어요. 근데 이제 대회니까 상대도 당황할 수 있겠다 싶어가지고 이제 선택을 했는데 잘 통했던 것 같아요.
2인용 맵을 정말 10분 활용한 조일장 선수의 노련함이 좀 느껴졌던 빌드가 아니었나 싶습니다. 세 번째 세트 승리를 굳히기에도 또 구드론을 선택하셨는데요. 이재동 선수가 그래도 이 뮤탈 공격을 한 차례 막아내는 모습이 있었습니다. 그땐 좀 어떠셨나요?
솔직히 말해서 저는 이제 끝낼 수 있을 거라고 생각을 하고 들어갔는데 막히더라고요. 좀 뭔가 유리하다 보니까 좀 긴장도 많이 되고 해가지고 막혔었는데 그래도 이제 스컬지로 드론 체크해보니까 드론은 제가 좀 더 많은 것 같더라고요. 그래가지고 다시 한번 모아서 잘 싸워보자 이제 그 생각밖에 없었던 것 같아요.
6번째 4강에 오른 조일장 선수기 때문에 아마 다음 목표는 결승 진출 우승이 아닐까 하는 생각도 듭니다. 이렇게 오래 ASL 했는데 우승이 없다니라는 말이 조일장 선수의 좀 말이 많은 분들의 뇌리에 좀 박혔을 것 같은데요. 4강 상대가 이제 내일 결정됩니다. 정영재 선수와 김민철 선수 중 승리한 선수가 조일장 선수와 4강 경기를 하게 될 텐데요. 조일장 선수가 더 높은 곳에 가기 위해서 좀 만나고 싶은 상대는 어떤 선수이실까요?
제가 테란전을 이제 자신 있어 하는 줄 알았는데 이번에 16강에서 한번 져보니까 테란전 힘들더라고요. 그래서 차라리 저저전이 낫지 않을까 생각합니다.
또 큰 벽처럼 느껴졌던 이재동 선수를 꺾었기 때문에 또 자신감을 저저전에서 찾은 듯한 조일장 선수의 답변입니다. 자, 오늘 8강 경기 현장에 가득 메워주신 팬분들도 그렇고 시청해주신 조일장 선수의 팬분들도 4강 진출을 정말 많이 염원하셨는데요. 또 각별하게 생각하시는 팬분들이시잖아요. 또 조일장 선수 한 말씀 해주시면 좋을 것 같네요.
일단 이번에 8강 앞두고 좀 여러 가지 이슈로 좀 경기력이 많이 안 좋았었는데 그래도 많이 응원해 주셔서 정말 감사드리고 이번 시즌은 솔직히 쉽지 않을 거라고 생각했는데 제가 그동안 폼도 많이 안 좋았고 근데 이제 점점 이제 올라가고 있는 과정이니까 아마 더 잘해서 더 좋은 모습 보여드리고 싶습니다. 많이 응원해 주세요. 감사합니다.
네, 다시 한번 조일장 선수 4강 진출 축하드립니다. 인터뷰 감사합니다.
그리고 연습
네네. 동료분들 말씀해 주시죠.
일단은 그 저저전 연습 도와준 우리 명훈이 형이랑 그리고 짭제 상현이랑 그리고 성음이도 오늘 아침에 또 도와줘가지고 그리고 또 경기 직전까지 멘토 해준 우리 암센세 우리 김윤환 선수 고맙다고 전하고 싶습니다.
네, 또 4강에서 보여줄 조일장 선수의 멋진 모습 기대하도록 하겠습니다. 인터뷰 감사합니다. 축하드립니다.
감사합니다.
자, 이렇게 해서 이번 시즌의 세 번째 4강 진출자 저그 조일장 선수와 함께했습니다.
Well, guys, there you have it. The shortest possible way to ever have a round of 8. Make it a ZVZ and make herO play. 3-0ing Jaedong. I feel like we barely even got warmed up, Tastosis, compared to how long our other broadcasts were for the round of 8. Man.
I wonder what was faster, this one or the mini versus best one where it was all proxy gates. There's some fast matches, man. Kind of crazy, but herO well-deserved into that round of 4. I mean, he just continues to hold himself up as one of the best players in the world. And that leaves one more player that's going to be joining us in this round of 4. It's going to be either JYJ or Sulky. This is, in my opinion, like the best match we could have in the round of 8. But then I look at how good match 1 and match 2 were, and it's like, damn, man, we really have been spoiled this round. You know what? The Jaedong getting 3-0'd was our payment for the other great matches.
Yeah, the karma had to kick in somehow.
Yeah,
we got too lucky with the 2 best of 5s to start this off. Look, I mean, I'm wishing herO the best of luck. Again, if Jaedong can't beat herO in ZVZ, if he can't get that good in ZVZ, not that he's bad, but he's not good enough to win the ASL. It's that simple.
Yeah. Well, if you don't win the ASL, you're not good enough to win the ASL, I guess.
Yes, it's true. It's true.
Something people have to live with, unfortunately. Now, that being said, I definitely think that this Sulky guy is good enough to win the ASL. We'll see if he's able to do it this time. JYJ's macro TVZ is second to none. It's going to be an amazing series, I think. I think it's going to be actually like going to Game 5, to be honest. Like, they're both too good at the late game.
Sulky's play is very modern, but he's always been great in best of 5s. I agree with what you're saying, Tastosis. I think JYJ's macro is looking so beastly, and it's going to be a fun round of 4, no doubt. I mean, we are rapidly approaching the very end of the ASL here. There's not that much more left, but we have some more great matchups to come here. JYJ, Sulky, I think anybody who thinks they can call this with confidence has got to be crazy. I think it's too hard for anybody to say for sure who's going to take this.
Yeah, they're both having a ton of prep time for it as well, so we're going to see some great stuff coming out of both of them. All right, well, I mean, that just about does it. Big thanks to all of our Patreon supporters. If you want to support the ASL, please check it out at patreon.com/ASL English.
We love you guys. Check the Patreon out, and we will see you for the final day of the round of 8 before we then move on to the round of 4. Till next time, bye-bye.